Connecting the boreal forest to the high Arctic, the Barren Lands is a northern desert, influenced by long days, hostile weather, and a short growing season. This has produced a highly tuned ecozone that is adapted to living life on the edge. Because of its remoteness, size, and endless waterways, the Barren Lands has a strong reputation as being the pinnacle of wilderness canoe tripping. And over the years, our team has been dreaming of one day visiting the strange paradise. Starting in the boreal forests of Great Slave Lake, our team will attempt to cover over 800 kilometers through a self-supported crossing of the Barren Lands, with the final goal to reach Bathurst Inlet of the Arctic Ocean in 1 month. The challenges of a tight schedule and Mother Nature play heavy in this adventure as we travel some of the region's most iconic and isolated waterways, get into some of the most insane fishing imaginable, and experience its incredible wildlife. This is the gateway to the Arctic.
Right over there, it's where we're going. Somebody there.
Go. Thank you.
Wow.
Yes, sir!
Man, that is so cool. He took the assignment an extra level. He's like, oh, you want a buzz? How about two?
Unlike other trips that we've done, this is the first time ever we're starting our trip with a portage. And this is not just any portage, this is the iconic Pikes Portage that leaves Great Slave Lake. The first section is about 4.6 kilometers with a 240 meter elevation. So right away we're gonna get right into trip mode with this portage. And the first item on the agenda is to rebuild the boat. What was the total tonnage of all our gear?
670 pounds of gear, not including the canoes. Low, right? Add an extra 80 pounds per canoe. Yeah. A lot of the stress of planning this, getting to like the starting point with all of our gear, all of us, and safe flight, it feels amazing.
It's amazing, you know, I've been in Yellowknife for 4 years and it's pretty flat. Like maybe there's hills, little hills of like 100, 150 feet, but when you're flying in it, it's amazing. There's like cliffs and just real topography. You could come off and it's always such a whirlwind, like tinkering with gear and getting stuff ready, and then every now and then you look up and you're like, oh yeah, this is sweet.
I feel terrible. Yeah, I don't want to be here at all. Just forced into it.
No, I feel great.
Never been to Northwest Territories. Never been on a canoe trip longer than like 5 days. So, feels pretty good to be embarking on something I've never done before with some new folks and my brother. My tree plant and crew boss in BC. So yeah, that's been 2 months of, you know, working almost every day and a lot of time with the black flies and long hours and stuff. So I feel primed. Yeah.
When we're huffing and puffing up the hill, he's gonna be cruising, no problem.
I'm the worker. Nosotros vamos a ir allá.
Actually, probably a strategy not to take 4 bear barrels and bring them over.
I'm just thinking of like, it's true.
It's taken a little time to figure out our portage strategy. Right off the start, we're doing this big ass portage. You know, at the start of every trip, you sort of have to figure out what you have and what goes well together. No warm up, right to it.
We're just getting started on this trip and already absolutely beautiful scenery around us. Blown away by the landscape out here. I didn't think it was gonna be so dramatic right off the bat.
We know a lot of people back home are gonna ask, why do we not just take the float plane an extra 5 kilometers, get dropped off on the other side of this portage? What's the significance of Pike's Portage, Kyle?
It's like the traditional route from the Great Slave Basin, which is the home of the Dene, up into the barren lands, which has been for a long time a traditional source of game, caribou. The caribou live in the barrens. It's a famous portage. People have been using it for thousands of years, and a lot of great explorers over the years have used it, and we just thought it important to do it.
Yeah, it would almost feel like cheating if we skip this.
And it'll make Artillery Lake so sweet when we get there.
So those are the 2 dirty bags. I can just hang them.
Yo, maybe go a little more sparing.
Yeah?
Don't you think?
Okay. Just because you don't like mustards?
No, just because I think we'll run into the bottle by tomorrow. We've made it about halfway on the portage. We've climbed a lot of elevation and the boys are getting hungry. So Noah's on lunch today, putting together a nice hearty lunch for us so that we can refuel and continue on and get to some water by the end of the day today.
This is one of the OG wraps too. Shipped it in May 1st. We had to get all our food to Yellowknife, so we did a lot of pre-packing and pre-sending. And I packed this and sent it to Kyle and Yellowknife a month ago. So I'm glad we're eating it now because the cheese is already starting to sweat.
The cheese already went on a canoe trip before this canoe trip.
So far, this has been an excellent portage. Perfect weather, open country.
I thought I was going on vacation, but instead now I'm carrying heavy canoe for these 2 men.
It's been a long day. We got up early and portaged up this mountain.
It's pretty crazy. Day 1, when we're the absolute heaviest, we are carrying 3 times on these portages.
I think we've gone up about 800 feet. So it's a bit of a slog.
Over 20 kilometers of walking, more than half of which we have like 80 pounds over our head.
We're feeling good.
Spirits are high.
It's a bad life.
It's actually not a bad way to get yourself into a big canoe trip like this. Good first day. We'll be working our way into the barrens.
We've officially made it to a part of the Portage we are now calling Bug Alley. Thick with bugs as soon as we entered. It's getting a little mucky to walk through. I don't think I'm gonna make it much further without a bug jacket. I thought we were done climbing. It just keeps going up. You're not even supposed to go swimming 30 minutes after eating, let alone hiking up straight up a mountain. Do you guys feel like the oxygen's thinning?
1.6K.
We're getting so close to the end. We're pretty sure this one last hill behind us, we just have to get over that and we'll be able to get eyes on Henry Lake. We have about 800 meters left. We're all starting to feel a little sore, so we're about ready to get this done.
I'm looking up ahead of me, you can't see it. Ahead of me is I think the summit. And it's a big ridge, a couple hundred feet we gotta get up.
See that? That's the lake. Oh yeah. Oh baby. Good job, dude.
Man.
It's a huge milestone. Huge milestone.
What a mission.
Oh yeah.
Central Beach? Oh wow. Yeah.
Big day, really big day. Had a low about 30 minutes ago. Looking up the final hill to get here, but how many pounds of gear were we? 670 pounds of gear.
Not including canoes.
Yeah, 2 canoes. Yeah, epic day.
This was a crux right off the bat. We usually don't start a trip with such a large portage. We've never done this before. The last few days have been a whirlwind organizing gear, and we haven't gotten much sleep. Last couple nights we probably all got anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of sleep. Best case scenario, we thought we could get over, so we are in a great situation to start off this trip.
Windsor's Canadian.
I know we don't have any.
Calgary, Canada.
How much do you want? Like that? Yeah, start there. Brother.
Thank you.
Brother number 2. Blood brothers.
We should just be called brother.
Cheers.
Guys,
Yo, boys, that was a amazing first day.
great being in the bush with you.
Oh yes.
Great.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Oh my god.
Tabasco sauce and crispy fried onions on top.
Woo!
Explode. What? Oh. Thank you.
It's all still sinking in that we're out here, and we have a month ahead of us. I'm just so grateful to be out here, back on the land. I just hiked up one of the hills here just to get an eye on the surrounding landscape. And it is wild. It is very different than anywhere I've been before. This burn really makes it look like a desolate landscape, but that's not true. These burn sites are rich in biodiversity, and the most prevalent species is the mosquito. And I'm learning that this morning.
We're sitting there, sipping on our coffees. Kyle's telling us how he's just gonna go get changed into his clothes for the day, and in mid-sentence switches to say, and that's a muskox. And there's a muskox just cruising over the hills. He looks stoic up on the rocks. They're very prehistoric looking.
Is that your first time seeing one?
First muskox. And on day 2. So early in the trip.
I liked how you could hear on the
Click.
rocks, you could hear the clanging of his hooves on the granite.
So cool. Today we are continuing on with Pike's Portage. Yesterday we had an absolute grind. Today we continue on that grind. We have at least 3 portages over 1 kilometer long before we reach Artillery Lake, and a couple smaller ones in between. But the good news is that we actually have some lake paddling to break that up today, which will be a real nice treat versus yesterday where it was just straight. It was a march. Yesterday was a march. So I'm just getting my life jacket all geared up here to start our day. First time paddling on this trip. I've got a nice big pocket at the front, and I'm going to utilize it with the 3 most important things that I need for today. Snacks, bug spray, and finally some bear bangers, just in case we take some heat.
First fish of the trip. What's it gonna be?
Looks trout-esque.
Oh, a little laker.
Still kicking. First fish. Nice laker. See, brother?
Good job, buddy.
Nice.
Pike's Portage is the route from Great Slave Lake up to the Barren Lands that have been used for thousands of years. The start of it is the 4.6 kilometer portage that we did yesterday, but it is a string of lakes and portages that's about 40 kilometers long. That'll get us up to Artillery Lake, which is the next big lake on our trip. Today we're gonna have a bunch of lakes and smaller portages, but it's all considered Pike's Portage, this entire route. We're paddling into the afternoon. We've done a few small portages this morning, stopped for a bite to eat, but now it is getting pretty hot. But the scenery is beautiful. We've been seeing more barren land and a lot more exposed bedrock.
It is smoking hot out here today. The sun is blazing down. I feel like in my preparation for this trip, I definitely planned more for being cold than warm, and the sun is beating down on us today.
I feel like I have borderline heat stroke.
We're coming up to our first big portage of the day. I don't think anyone's really in the mindset right now to actually start undertaking another big portage after the day we had yesterday, but we're gonna have to get our minds straight and get ready to trek on with what could be a very difficult portage.
I see something to the right here.
Yeah, we got the trail here.
Oh yeah, right there.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.
Whoa, shit. You gotta tighten up your drag.
Peeling line. You love how pike fight until they get up to the boat.
It's a good sized pike. It's a real nice fish, mate. Look at the size of that beauty. Woo!
Unreal. Sweet.
Yo, he's coming to chill in the wrong place. Big portage of the day. Here we go. 1600 coming at you. How far up will we climb on this portage? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Yo, it's just me, G Rizza, and my big brother.
We hear them boys coming over the hill.
Yeah, yo, here we go now. Yeah. Yo, blah, 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 broke the law, and blah, 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 lobster in the lobby. Yo, whoa, whoa.
So we came across a trap. Some of these portages that we're on are, I guess they're trap lines as well. There'd be some sort of food in there, and something like a marten or a mink or a weasel would go in there to eat it, and it would lock down on them. Heck yeah. We're just finishing up this portage. It's probably a little past 6 o'clock, dinner time, and I think there's a good wind here. It's open country, there's some firewood. I think this is gonna be our spot. It's a long day and we're still sort of recovering from the lack of sleep that we started off with. So this might be it. As we've been moving through these portages, we have been seeing signs of human activity. And it is really cool to see because this is a very historic route. Some of these fire pits can be hundreds of years old. Typically people are gonna stop and camp at similar spots after long portages, sandy beaches, windy points. It's interesting. And then you go to a spot and you're like, oh, that's a cool campsite. And then you see old signs of other people camping. We all think very similar.
Warburton pike. He's the pike that Pike's Portage is named after. The first Western recreational paddler up here. And he assembled a kind of a crew, and I think they came up for at least one whole season, maybe two. And he was kind of ahead of his time. He held the Dene in high regard and adopted a lot of their practices, which can't be said for a lot of his contemporaries who didn't respect Dene way of life and thought the British way was the only way. Yeah, he was just like a rich guy who wanted to check this part of the world out, so he came up here, and that's why, yeah, Warburton Pike, Pike's Portage is named after him.
We did about 23 kilometers, which is pretty good considering how many portages we did and how hot it was. Throughout this trip, we're going to be traveling through two ecozones. The first is the Taiga Shield, which is what we're seeing and what we've been traveling through, which is a lot of exposed Precambrian rock with intermittent sparse jack pines, black spruce, tamaracks, and birch trees. And then above the tree line is the southern Arctic. And you can already tell on the hills here that it's starting to get barren, so we're getting close. If all goes well, we'll reach Artillery Lake tomorrow, and that is a monster lake that is about 50 kilometers long. Rumor has it, on the northern tip is where the tree line is.
Because they were fine until they got wet, like halfway up the first day of Pikes, and then they just, as soon as they got wet, you could tell they started blistering fast.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Oh. Thank God.
Mosquitoes are out in full force this morning. Yesterday was smoking hot. I went to bed in essentially just a light shirt and shorts, and then woke up in the middle of the night, freezing cold. The temperature had dropped a ton. I had my woolies nearby, so I was able to jump into those to heat myself up and get comfortable. But it's all about temperature regulation out here, and you need to make sure you've got those things close by.
But today it does look like it's gonna get hot again. There's no wind, and you just feel it. You can feel it in the air. It's gonna be hot. Today the mission is to get to Artillery Lake and finish Pike's Portage. We have 3 significant portages to get there. We've started a little earlier today, and hopefully we can beat that mid-afternoon sun that was scorching us yesterday.
Come back in.
So we're gonna be starting about a 1.2 kilometer portage for breakfast here.
My nipples have been chafing on portages. I don't know if it's the life jacket or what's going on, but something's pressing up against, and it's mainly when I've got my life jacket on with the canoe, constantly just rubbing up against them. They're pretty sensitive today.
We didn't take a map on our first go, so we just were following the path. And then it got really rocky, and then we started seeing cairns everywhere. So we followed them to what looks to be a pond. Yo, is that just a pond? But you don't know if it goes anywhere.
The cairns seem to take us to a pond over there.
Yeah.
That looks very much just like a pond. There's another body of water over there that looks like it might be bigger and maybe the right way to go. Yeah. But the cairns all lead to the pond.
Yeah.
You probably dropped right by that pond there.
Yeah.
And we just need to go a bit further.
Okay. Shit. We're close.
We're close. Well, maybe we'll...
Maybe just drop by the canoes then and then...
Or we can just even blast it, I'm fine.
If you're
Yeah,
good,
up to
just
you
blast
guys.
it.
Yeah, we'll just go all the way.
Okay.
Okay.
This is my favorite portage yet.
Me too. You can tell we're getting into barren land now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is beautiful out here.
Yeah, look at it. Look at the vistas.
I know.
This is by far my favorite portage yet. This is the first portage where it feels like we're portaging into the barren lands. The southern boundary of the barren lands is considered where the tree line is. And there's 5 main factors what stop tree growth. And that happens both longitudinally to the north and increase in altitude on mountains. 5 things. First thing, permafrost. More permafrost, less possibility for roots to grow into the ground. Second, the amount of organic matter in the soil. The third is wind. It gets really windy out here, and any small plants that grow with a very shallow root system will just get blown over. Fourth is the amount of precipitation. The Arctic is considered a cold version of a desert. In Canada, the prevailing winds come from the west off the Pacific Ocean, and all this evaporation creates clouds full of moisture on the Pacific, and they come across and hit the Rocky Mountains, and it causes them to rise. And as they rise, they hit the dew point where the moisture then starts to precipitate out. And then over the mountains is the dry air that then sweeps the tundra. So there's not a lot of rain here. There's actually 5 times less annual precipitation here compared to out east. And the fifth thing is, it is super cold here. There's only about a 2-month growing season, and in the winters it can actually get so cold that it freezes the inner sap of trees, and that would kill them. So those are the 5 main reasons there's no trees in the Arctic.
We've just completed the 3rd last portage to Artillery Lake. When I'm on a portage, I really start to appreciate the walk back, where you're not carrying gear, and it's a nice hike where you get to actually take in all the landscape around you. And today has definitely been a day that I've been finding myself getting lost in the landscape out here because it's just absolutely stunning. We're definitely entering the barren lands now, and we're going to be saying goodbye to the tree line pretty soon.
Just on one of the last portages here, Pike's Portage. It's actually quite a nice one. It's pretty straightforward. We can see the trail pretty well, and we're so far away from other folks, but somehow way out here there's this real nice trail. I think it's a reminder that while this portage might not get a lot of folks annually, it's been here for a really long time.
Okay, big old bastards.
We have made it to the final portage going into Artillery Lake. A moment we've been working towards for the last 2.5 days. It's been a complete grind so far. This portage is around 1,200 meters and a big milestone for us getting past Pike's Portage.
Oh my god, a lake's never looked so good. Oh my god. We made it to Artillery, finally. Oh my god.
The team has officially made it to Artillery Lake, something we've been working on for the last 3 days with heavy packs and a ton of gear. And we finally made it. Time to have some lunch and just soak in the views.
There was once water, and then you go on a massive portage and then you realize that all water should have electrolytes.
The biggest portage I've ever done. I don't know if I'll ever do bigger.
We are getting to Artillery Lake, and rumor has it there's going to be some lunker lake trout in there. So I just rigged up a setup for trolling off the back of the boat. We are going to be trolling at a decent clip, so it's going to be hard to keep our spoons at depth. Lake trout like to stay deep, so you want to get your spoon or your lure down to them. You don't want them to come up because they're not going to go for your lure that's skipping along the surface. So what I did is I set up a 3-way snap swivel with a 1 ounce weight with about 2.5 feet of line to a Williams wobbler on a snap swivel. This is gonna wobble through the water at depth, hopefully, and hopefully get a lake trout. We also have a competition going between the guys. Biggest fish of the trip. And on these big lakes, these are the best opportunities to get those big lake trout. So I'm gonna start with 1 ounce weight. If I can't get it down deep enough, I might increase it to 2 or 3.
Bill deep. He went straight down.
Oh my god.
Unless it's like a stick. Not a stick, man. You have an enormous lake trout on there.
And it hasn't even seen the boat yet.
Okay.
Like, that's just pure weight.
Oh my god.
Just tire him out. Just tire him out. Your time is on your side here, Graham.
Let's give him a little space here.
You might want to go to the beach, to be honest.
It might not be a bad
I think he's
idea.
maybe seeing you too, eh?
Yeah.
No, doesn't want to come.
You'll tire him out. He'll come. You get time. We'll take you right into the cobblestone beach here, dude. And then we can both get out and we can get them in the net.
It's a nice one.
Good fish, G. Now we just gotta land them. Coming for you?
Yeah! Oh, buddy!
Oh my god, that thing's a tank!
It's crazy, I think the first one was about the same size, but it just wasn't fighting nearly as hard as this guy.
We weren't on the lake for more than 15 minutes, and Graham hooked into dinner. Big old lake trout.
That's so beautiful. Oh, I just caught this thing.
He's not small.
GoPro start recording.
Got a good bend there going on, Noah.
I do. He just moved, like, he has a lot of weight to him, I think. We're paddling and all of a sudden, like a shoal came up, it dropped off and he was right there. Oh my god! Holy shit, this is a big ass. Oh my god.
Yo, I'm gonna take you to shore. One's in the middle there, right?
You want the net?
I don't know if he's gonna fit.
Oh my god.
Huge.
Oh.
I didn't see it. Oh my god! Holy shit! That's awesome.
Oh my god.
What a fight! This is so exciting. What pound test you got on there?
20.
Nice.
I don't think it'll break. I think it'll be the hook that comes out.
Whoa.
Thunder.
Do you want to hold the rod when you get ready?
I think I get him.
It's getting tired now. Well, that's a good sign.
Let me know.
Here's film.
That's the biggest trout I ever caught was a trout. Noah. Well done, buddy.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh, smokes!
Oh my god, dude. That is a tank.
Where is he? Pretty good.
Woo!
we just got a glimpse of Artillery Lake proper. The first few kilometers was in a narrow section, and it slowly opens up, and you can see in the far distance over there, it looks like a break wall, but that's true Artillery Lake. We're not gonna get there today. We're looking for a camp right now, but tomorrow it's gonna feel like we're paddling on the ocean. This is a big lake.
I've noticed the temperature's actually feeling colder with the breeze coming in. I think we're definitely coming up to a very big body of water that potentially might still have ice on it. We heard from some pilots a few days ago that there was still ice on this lake, probably about 5 days ago. So curious to see what we have up ahead.
For this trip, I was recommended to get a 4-season tent, specifically for the high winds that could happen through here. So I did a lot of research, and I came up with the Marmot 3-person Thor for 2 people on this trip. It's about 11 pounds, and so far it's been awesome. It doesn't take up that much space in the dry bag, about 20 liters worth of space. So far it's pretty comfortable in there for 2 people. You might even be able to comfortably fit a third, if need be.
That was a crazy first 3 days to the start of that trip.
My goodness.
Oh, okay, well then it's good. Little thunder in the background.
Fresh caught lake trip.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of fish crisp on there.
So good. That was caught about 2 hours ago.
I just got a text on the inReach from my dad, who's like following along. And 96 years ago today, John Hornby? He said Jack Hornby. I thought it was John Hornby. Camped on the south end of Artillery. 96 years ago today, which would have been the trip, his fateful trip up to Thelon, where he then died, I guess, that following winter. So pretty cool. Maybe he was here. Who knows?
But that's no lie, 'cause I'll keep doing it, because that's how memories are made.
Okay, whiskey roulette. Anybody?
Yes.
Please.
Yes, a shot of whiskey, please.